Hey, hi everyone. Today we will discuss about more topics about the CSS. In last week we discussed through box model and then we discussed through CSS units and other things. Here today we will discuss about how we size the elements, what is opacity, and then we will try if we get some time we will see how we can style the table. Okay. So first we will start with the sizing. So as we know, whenever we put some HTML element, okay, whenever we write a HTML markup language, okay, so some all those HTML elements has its own style, has its own size, okay. Some browser default styles are applied, okay. Even before we apply some custom style, browser default styles are applied depending on the what we can say content, okay. Mostly it depends on the content what is I have put inside the tags, okay, like this. So this is the content. Depending on that content, the sizing will decide, correct? So depending on the content or depending on the its own intrinsic size, okay, if we say if it is our text content, so on that text content, okay, based on that text content sizing will be decided for this h4 or span element. Or if we are adding the images, okay, these images, so the whatever the size of that image, okay, default size of that image, that will be shown on the web page. So all those things are the we call them as a natural size or intrinsic size. So some HTML elements, okay, has its own intrinsic size, okay, or the images or any multimedia file has its own size, okay. So that size we call as a natural size or intrinsic size, and that element will occur with its own natural or uh, what we can say intrinsic size, okay. While some elements doesn't have its own natural or intrinsic size, and it depends on the content. Like this div element, okay, doesn't have any size, okay. If you just put a empty div element, it will not have any size, okay. But once you put some content, then only it will size according to the content, okay. It will be placed according to the content. So let me remove this content and we'll see how the div works, okay, in the sizing perspective. So I will remove this part, remove this class right now, okay. So below this input text, okay, below this input text we have div element, but it is not visible because it doesn't have its own size, okay. It doesn't have the intrinsic size, okay. So this is box one. Let me remove the width and height. We'll keep border element, okay, only. So see, as the div is the block level element, so it is taking the whole space, okay, whole space of this line, okay. But height is height, you can say height is calculated according to the content. So again, if I remove the content and save it, so you will see a simple line, okay, which is taking whole line space, okay, but it doesn't have any height. Why? Because there is no content, so height is 0. By default height is 0 because there is no content, and border is showing up, it is collapsed, okay, because height is 0, so both the top and bottom border are collapsed here, fine. And it is taking whole line space because it is a block level element. As soon as I put some content here, its height is decided based on the content, okay. So height is this much. If I put this thing inside the h2, okay, so its height decided based on the content, that is h2 element. So height increase. Previously it was small height, okay, maybe it might be 5 pixel to 10 pixel. Now it might be from 15 to 20 pixel with the margin added by the h2. So if I inspect here, So this is our h2. Fine. So with h2, with the content, we have margin on top and margin on bottom, and that also gets added to the height of the div element. Okay, so the elements will have its own intrinsic size, or maybe will not have their intrinsic size, and depending on the content they will take the sizes. Okay, like height it will take, or width it will take. In case of a block level element, width will be 100% because they are block level element, but this same thing if it was present in span, so width will also decided based on the what we can say, based on the content width. Okay, so let me just reduce the content and change this thing again to span. So see, it depending on the content, width is decided, height is decided, because it is an inline level element. So both the things, width and height, is decided based on the content. While for block level element, width was totally 100%, while height is decided based on the content. So in this case, if I just again go back to div. Okay, now we don't want the size of the particular element to be decided based on the content, and we want it to be based on what value I provide. So we already saw this how we can do it. So we explicitly define the size like this: width, that is 100%, and height to be 55 pixels. Okay, so based on that, it will be decided. So width is 100%, but height is 55 pixel, which is smaller for the content. So content has overflow outside the box. So this is explicit way of defining the size. Okay, how size will be present. Now we saw how we can control the overflow. Correct. We know how we can control this overflow thing. We can provide overflow hyphen y. Okay, and scroll option we can provide like this, and it will have scroll option. So the content has uh, inside, it is showing properly with the scroll option. In this case there is another way. So if we consider this content which we are seeing here, we may, if this content is the variable content, like if I say whatever input I am providing here, okay, depending on this input the same thing will be printed here. Okay, if we consider whatever user will put here, he or she will input here something, based on that, that same content will be printed here. So it is variable. We don't know if it will be one line content, it will be two line content, or it will be just 2 to 3 word content. Okay, so this is variable thing, we are not sure how much will be the content. Okay, so in this case what we can do, we can have at least the minimum height. Okay, we can define what should be the minimum height. So it will have the uniform design. Okay, uniform design, whether it has 2 or 3 words, or if it is having one line sentence. Okay, so it will have some minimum height, and then if the content is more, then its size will increase according to the content. Okay, right now we have defined fixed size. I have defined fixed size of 55 pixel. So our content has gone outside the box, and for that this is overflow situation. So we need to apply overflow thing. But I don't want to have scrolling option. So what I will do, I will apply something called minimum height, that is 55 pixel. So in this case what will happen, always the box height will be minimum of size 55 pixel, but if the content is more, like in this case, so the height will increase according to the content. So let's see, I will save this. So see, our box size, or we can say height, has increased according to the content. Okay, if I reduce it, it will become 55 pixel. See, it will become 55 pixels. So this is now 55 pixel. If I put some more content now, see the sizing has increased. Okay, so this is the way you can handle the sizing of the box or any element. This is not specific to the div element or any other. This can be applied to anywhere. Okay, so like we have applied minimum height, we can have minimum width also. Okay, we can have minimum width. Okay, so this minimum width will be present there, like you can provide 50 pixel or 20 pixel, so the box will have that much minimum width. Okay, and if the uh, what we can say content increase, okay, content, if we have more content, so it will increase the width according to the content. So you can provide like 50% minimum width and it will be like this. So now we have more content, so this it is 100%. Let me just reduce the content. Oh, okay, so actually we have h2 element, so that's why it is what we can say block level element, and it is taking almost 50 per 100%. Let me change it to something inline element. Okay, so it is showing fine. Let me check once again. We are dealing with inline elements. So for inline elements, it is always the what we can say, it will always work with the content level. So we need to go with this approach. We need to provide the display as the inline block, so it will work as a inline block where we apply word one like inline block. So that's why it applied margin and padding here. Okay, so I will apply something called display, so that inline thing will work like block. Yeah, so now it is working fine. Let me try to reduce the width. Let's see if it works. Yeah, so see, I just put a display inline block because we forgot that when we are dealing with inline element, so inline element always go for content level sizing. Okay, whatever the content, it will be take that much size only. Okay, so that's why I put inline block. Okay, so it will have for in cases of width and height, margin and padding, it will work like a block level element as we saw in the previous sessions for this word element. If I height, okay, so now this has taken 50% of the screen size, right? And I have applied, width, height also 100 pixel. Let me reduce it to 50, so it decrease the size. Fine. If I one second, I will just apply this width to be 30%. Okay, this much is space. Let's see if I increase the content level, how it works. So as soon as I increase the space, it understood that we are not able to place on that previous line. So it increases the width and placed on the next line itself. Okay, and see what the minimum height or minimum width is working. So when the content is less, it will apply the minimum height and minimum width. As soon as the content is increased, it will apply the space or width or size, whatever will be according to the content. Okay, according to the content, its dimension will be uh, decided. Okay, so with this we have another property, that is max width and max height. Okay, max width, okay, I will just put 10%, and max height 50 pixel. Okay, now you for max width and max height, what is the significance here? So if you have something max height as 50 pixel, okay, so the content, okay, the in sizing will be 50 pixel, okay, but the content will not try to fix it. Okay, let me show you directly here. So see, what will happen if the here also we can see. So our what we can say, the width is the 10%, okay, 10% of the screen, and height is 50 pixel. Okay, so it restricted the box, okay, to the 10% of the screen and the 50 pixel in height. So the content has gone outside. It is overflown in Y direction. Okay, so this one is applied, okay, mostly for the restriction based. Okay, it is applied for the size should not go outside this value. The size should not go outside the value. Previously when we apply minimum height, the size can be increased or decreased based on the content. Okay, but it was having minimum threshold. Okay, it was having minimum threshold. Right now it is having maximum threshold. It should not go outside this dimension. Okay, correct. Previously we were having minimum height and minimum width. It was saying that the box should be at least of this minimum dimension. Okay, minimum threshold it was provided. Maximum it can go to any value depending on the content. Okay, depending on the content it can increase. Okay, now with the back max width and max height, we are restricting and provided maximum threshold to that box. Okay, and it can't increase beyond this value. Okay, it can't increase beyond this value. So let me decrease the content. Okay, so now we can see it has uh, placed inside the box. Content has placed inside the box. I think I need to increase little bit the width so it will be better. So we can see content has placed inside the box perfectly. If I again increase the size, increase the content, so see the sizing has increased based on the maximum width. Okay, previously it was reduced to have content. Okay, it can reduce now. Okay, but it can't go beyond the maximum dimension. Okay, previously it was like it reduced itself according to the content. Okay, it reduces itself according to content. If it increase, it will increase according to content inside the limit of the maximum size. Okay, inside the limit of the maximum size. If I again increase more content, so now it is having the maximum width and maximum height, and based on the content it doesn't increase its size. So we have already provided the maximum threshold here. Okay, now we will see how the opacity works. Okay, so let me show you the box 2 part. For opacity, I will remove this image. So we have this background color and the content. Okay, let me increase some content. So we have content and background color. Okay, so what is opacity? So using opacity property we can control the transparency. Okay, how we want the content to be transparent, how much transparent we want the content. So I will show you what it means directly. So there is one property, opacity. Okay, now here if I put 0, that means it will be fully transparent. Okay, and 1 will be fully opaque. Okay, that is right now it is uh, fully opaque. Okay, that means this is the state. Okay, this is the default value. Opacity equal to 1 is the default value. The whatever we are seeing is in the opacity 1. Okay, that we can see everything and there is no transparency. And if I put 0, that is full transparent, it has gone. It is invisible right now, but it means it is a transparent. So I will give middle value so you can understand. So see, now the element is showing up, but it is little bit what we can say blurry. For you, it might be blurry, but it is transparent. It is showing the white background to us. So okay. So as you can see, actually I have overlapped the content. Okay, I have overlapped the box 2 on box 1. Okay, so in some scenario, you might know that we have some kind of situations where we need to apply the transparency. We want to show something of the background also and something of the upper part also. So if two contents are overlapped and we want to show both of them, like if I to show you somewhere. So this part is very less, okay, but I am showing you. So this is this cal if you this is the calendar part, okay. As soon as I click on it, so one another box has come and overlap on the calendar part, and still I can see this calendar word behind the scene. Okay, so here we have applied opacity. Okay, and that's this is transparent, and that's why I can see this calendar word. Focus on this point, so that's why I'm able to focus on that part. Okay, if I remove the content of my box too, so here you can see a little bit too much of things, so I will remove the content so you will see the content of the below box. Okay, so see I remove that content, so that's why we are able to see the content of the box 1, that is a box with green background. Okay, so like this, but if I again show create the opacity of 1, we will not see that content. It is overlap. So in such scenario, this overlap will means this opacity is helpful. Okay, like this. So this opacity works for whole element. Okay, opacity works for whole element. What I am trying to say, when I put 0, everything is disappear. Okay, including border, content, that is text. If we apply some text also, and the background color. Okay, but there is one more thing here. Okay, this is applied to whole element, this opacity, but there is one more property in case of this. One second. So if I apply this property with, if I apply color with this RGB function. Okay, so we have this content, same level content. If you want to have opacity for the color only, for the background color and not for the other content, so I will apply our content also. So we have our own content also. So I want to apply opacity to my color only. Okay, so it is called as alpha channel. Okay, in case of here, and if I put 0, it is fully transparent, but border is visible, content is visible, only the background color has become full transparent. Correct. If I put 0.5, so see the content is as it is. I will remove it from the overlapping. So you will see this text is as it is, border is as it is, but the only the color has improved its opacity, that is it has become transparent, okay, and can see the white background also. If we provide directly one, we can't see the white background below inside it. If I provide 0.1, I can see white background also. It has become transparent. So this is called as alpha channel. Along with the RGB, we have RGBA function to decide the opacity for the color. This for this width and height, I have provided specific size and provided a fixed size and not the relative size. As we all know what is pixel, okay, this is absolute value or specific value, while we have relative properties like REM, okay, EM, okay, and percentage. Using REM, EM or percentage, we can provide relative value, okay, relative to parent element, relative to root element, correct, that we discussed already. But we have one more thing. According to that unit, okay, we can provide the size according to our viewport. What is viewport? So whatever this white space, okay, even this one, so whatever white space we can see on the browser, this is viewport, okay. So whatever viewport's width and viewport's height is, according to that we can size the content. So here instead of 300 pixel, I can provide one view W. So one view W means 1% of viewport width. 1% of this width, whatever viewport, that is this screen size. Then I can provide 10 means 10%. So I will provide 50%. And for this I will provide something 10 VH. Okay, that is viewport height. So see, it is half of the screen, width is half of the screen, and the height is 10% of the height. Okay, half of the screen in width size and 10% of the height. Same I will provide to this one also. Here I will provide height as a 20 VH, and here I will provide 60 VW. So see, it has 60 VW and double of this size. That is, it is 20% of the view height. Fine. So this is again a relative value, relative to viewport. Okay. So if I decrease this thing, its size is also increasing or decreasing as soon as the device width, okay, in our case browser window width, okay, this is the browser window, and whatever the browser window size like width and height is increasing or decreasing, according to that its value is increasing and decreasing. So I will change in height also. Height is also increasing and decreasing. So it is based on the what browser window size, okay, browser window size, it will change its height and width. So this is again viewport view height. It will also again useful when you are making a responsive web design. So it will check what is the mobile viewport, what is tablet viewport, what is desktop viewport, and according to that it will size your content. Okay, so this is the part of our session. So that's it for today's session. We will meet tomorrow and we will discuss on the table CSS, how we can style our table, okay, in that lecture. Thank you guys. Bye.